Hello, hello. Hi, all, and happy Friday. It has been a really long week. Oh, yeah, my kids started school this week, so that's probably got a lot to do with it. I'm not used to waking up that early anymore. It's been a while. So that has to be it. But very productive, but very long. So, those, I'm sure many parents out there can probably fill me on that one. But anyway, so we are here not to talk about my schedule and lack of sleep. We're here to talk about step 2 in the Agile Mindset Framework. So, for those of you that are new to me, welcome. My name is Angel G. Henry. I am author of Dents in the Ceiling: Tools Women and Allies Need to Break Through, as well as your resident Agile mindset expert. I essentially take a framework that I learned in IT and apply it to change management. I use it as a change management framework, particularly to apply to leadership and education for supervisors and managers, right? I truly, truly believe that the heart of creating inclusive work environments, to employee engagement, to top talent retention, to diversity, to all of it, all the stuff that we've been talking about for the last 3 years. I really think the heart of it really centers down to one relationship in the organization, and that is between the staff member, the individual contributor, the person that's on the team, and their supervisor. But this goes all the way up, right? So you can be a supervisor of supervisors, right? You can be a director, senior director, VP, and that relationship between you and your direct reports, that's the heart of in all the inclusion, all of the training, all of the diversity initiatives. That's where it's going to live or die on the vine, right? That's where we're going to excel or shrink back, and it just end up being lip service, right? And all the money that you're pouring into bringing in top diverse talent becomes a revolving door, and they go right back out a year, sometimes less than a year, but usually within a year to 3 years later, because they are not having that true, authentic, empathetic connection with their direct supervisor. They're not getting the support that they need. So how do we address this? Got to focus on the supervisor. Okay. Very often they are not trained in what we call the soft skills, which are very much not soft at all. They're actually pretty hard. They are folks that have grown up in their functional area: engineering, IT, finance, marketing, project management, you name it. They are rock stars at doing the work. And as a result, they got promoted. And so now they manage a team of people who are doing the work. And so what do? They focus on the work. I mean, that makes sense. That's what they're good at. That's what they were motivated to do. That's what they were rewarded to do. So, of course, they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep focusing on the work. But unfortunately, y'all, especially my HR and diversity office practitioners out there, know that we need to shift their focus from the work to the people doing the work. And how do we do that? How do we get them to shift? Introduce the 4-step process. The first step that we covered last week was around making a list of objectives, right? All of your big rocks, all of your company's objectives, just make a list of them, whether it's digital transformation, whether it's a new go-to-marketing plan, whether it's whatever it is, fill in the blank, whatever it is, you have to make a list of those. And guess what? Your people initiatives need to be a part of that list. It can't be on some separate list off to the side here. It has to be on one list. So we're making one list. And step 2, which is today, we're going to prioritize that list. And y'all got to be honest, this is the most difficult step. This is the hardest thing for people to do. Senior leaders, especially, our CEOs, our chief diversity equity officers, getting together with the heads of HR, getting together with the heads of the functional units, And creating a prioritized list, because everybody's got their own list. and they'll prioritize their list. But I'm talking about a prioritized list from a company perspective. And your people change initiatives need to be showing up all through that, right? All through the changes, we have to embed and think about the people that are going to enact the change, or that the change is going to be enacted upon. We have to think about the people. How are we going to support the people? More specifically, how are we going to support the supervisors and managers that are going to support the people? Get that prioritized list. And now we have visibility. We have transparency. And with visibility and transparency, guess what we can get? Now we can get investment. Now we can get people assigned to doing the actions that are going to affect the objectives that are going to move the needle on completing the work. Okay, so this is all work. We're working backwards here. It was reverse engineering the process. If I want to achieve this, let me think about what I need. What are the pieces and parts that are going to lead me up to achieve that change? So prioritization is key. Once you have the list, you've brain dumped it, you've kind of pruned it, and you're like, yep, this is it. You have to be relentless about prioritizing. And here's the problem. Here's something that I've seen literally 85% of the time. Okay, maybe I'm being generous. It might be 90%. Most people have multiple number ones on the list is what happens, right? There's always three number one things, and then everything else kind of falls from there. I often get pushback from senior leaders that will say this, but Angel, we have to do all three of these things in order to keep the lights on, keep the business going, meet our stakeholders, objectives that we promise them, to meet something. We have to do all three of these things and do it well and knock it out of the box. And I'm like, I get it. I hear you. You do. Yes, you do. But if you could only do one, what would it be? And that's the challenging question, right? If you could only do one, what would it be? And that's a mindset shift that switches and changes to say, okay, well, wait a second. If I can only do one, if I only have the money, the people, the resources to do one of these, now I'm focused on which one is going to be the most beneficial, offer the most value. And that is exactly what I'm trying to get at. Benefit and value. Which thing is going to be the most impactful? And we have to sit and think about that for a second, right? So why is it so challenging? Like, okay, we get it. After about 5 or so minutes, somebody could actually, if you really press them hard, they should be able to pick the number one thing. You'd be surprised at how many people not only resist this part of this exercise, but simply will not do it, cannot do it, refuse to pick one thing because they feel like they have to give up something else, right? And that's actually the case. Yes, you do. You have to give up something in order to get the most valuable, most beneficial, most high impactful thing. You're going to have to give up time. You're going to have to give up people. You're going to have to give up resources. And you're going to have to give up something in order to get something new, because we do have a finite amount of time, people, and money. We're in the real world, right? It doesn't grow on trees for most of us. And there's only so many, so much skill set, as we all see with the talent retention problems, challenges that most organizations are having these days. There's only so many people that have that particular skill or talent. and we can only take about 6.5 hours of them a day, or they're not machines, right? They can't run around the clock. So we do have finite resources when it comes to time, money, and people. And so with that finite amount of resources, where do we want to put that to? Where do we want to prioritize and say, okay, all hands on deck on this one, knowing that, yes, there are other things that need to get done at the same time, but where is your priority? Where are you going to spend the most time? Where are you going to put the most money? Where are you going to put the biggest team on, right? In order to hit that objective, in order to make that change. So that's why, that's the work. That is what step 2 is all about. But that's why step 2 is so critically important, because actually it ends up either positively or negatively impacting step 3. Okay. Because in step 3, we want to see some needles moving. We want to see some goodness. We want to see some execution, some implementation. We want to see some work getting done. And if we are not all on the same page, if we are not all crystal clear on what the main objective is and what the very clear priority is, then you will see some serious erosion in making change initiatives happen at a pace that is sustainable. I'll pause. A pace that is sustainable for people, and a pace that allows some room for growth, for change, for course correction, for feedback, right? We are rewarded, especially in companies and organizations, with speed to implementation. And there's nothing wrong with speed to implementation. In fact, I highly encourage it in step 3, not in step 2. So we can only go fast if we know where we're going. If people don't know where they're going, they're not going to go fast. They're going to tiptoe. They're going to put their foot in, then they're going to put it out. They're going to play the hokey pokey with it. They'll pick it up and then they'll put it back down because something else, came dropping in. Another priority item came in, so they're going to put that down and move to that, and that other priority item does not get the time and attention that it needs in order to be successful. So hopefully I've dropped enough of a nugget for you to come back here and stay with us for step 3, which is actually doing the work. But as with any framework, there is a little bit nuance there around how we do the work and how we get it done. So for now, have that list of prioritized items and take some time to really think about prioritizing that list. And by the way, y'all, this can be done for anything, but we are talking about change initiatives for organizations here. There's multiple ways to get that exercise done. I've seen it done successfully many, many ways, but honestly, getting in a room and duking it out and asking the very, very hard question of, if we have a finite amount of people, time, and money, which of these things on the list can we all agree to is the most important thing? Okay, that's the question. So with that, how does that tie into AI and HR? I'm so glad you asked. So the tie here is that we love, or we think that, systems are going to do the work for us. So here's where this is a nice hybrid that comes into play. You can absolutely, for those organizations that are, Fortune 500 companies, or you're coming from a large conglomeration, this is probably for you. You very well might be using some decision modeling software in order to spit out cost benefit analysis. Where should we be putting our time and attention to? If we do that, what is our ROI, our return on investment if we invest in this initiative. All of that data and information and financial reporting is important. It is an input, and it is only an input into this step. Okay, so it's data, but we need human beings to have their eyes on this, and for human beings to get in a room and all decide on, this is what the data is telling me, this is what the information is saying, this is what our teams are saying. Here, if we invest in this initiative, here's our ROI, here's what we're going to get the best bang for our buck. So that should be the one. Okay, but we need humans to come into a room and make that determination and not defer to the decision based modeling and the systems, because again, it is only an input. Okay. So there's that. Okay. So yes, AI is going to be and systems can be used throughout all of this that we're talking about. But at the end of the day, I'm speaking on to the humans, to you out there that have some very hard work to do. So, as my old supervisor would say, that's why we pay you the big bucks. So we are here for you to leverage the framework to make it a little bit easier and to get to those hard questions faster, so that we can make better, more informed decisions faster, so that we can, again, get to the speed to implementation. Okay, so with that, if you have any questions, please do DM me, reach out, contact me. I'm here on LinkedIn almost 20 hours a day, it feels like. I feel like LinkedIn should be paying me. But also too, real quick, in the last couple of minutes, I want to highlight that I am so crazy excited. This week, like I said, we've been working hard. And so my team and I have developed a what we call a pilot program or a bridge offer, whatever terminology you prefer. But essentially, it's taking the full-blown, comprehensive Agile mindset training and education for supervisors and managers, and giving you a taste of 3 of our most important modules that we think, when we put these together, your organization will see a transformation in a matter of weeks. We will have data, we will have information back about how well supervisors and managers who go through the program are able to implement and affect positive change with their teams. Okay. So again, we are super excited about this offer, because we really think it's going to open it up to more organizations that want to try the framework and see some results. Again, I know speed to implementation, that's what y'all are about. So we're giving it to you. So if you are interested in the Agile mindset for supervisors or managers education series as a pilot, please do reach out to info@AngelsSpeaking.com. That's where you see that little ticker taper down at the bottom. I myself or my team member would love to get on a call to talk with you about how we can help support you and the growth of your organization. All right. With that, thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful, happy Friday. Be blessed, be safe, have a wonderful weekend, and mark your calendars for this time next Friday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, where we will unpack step 3 of the Agile mindset framework. All right. Bye, all.